Fitness influencers are all talking about Zone 2 running. So what the heck is it, and why are run clubs in Singapore doing Zone 2 running? Watch on so you can still tell others that you know what Zone 2 running is, even if you have not exercised for the past 8 years, you lazy bold. So, if you're old like me and exercise regularly, why you judge me? Just because I've got a big belly, you think I didn't exercise one meh? Not everyone with big belly is someone who doesn't exercise one. Walao eh. He can just be pregnant ma. If you're like me, you will be confused because many years ago, we did not do this Zone 2 running that much. You see, not too long ago, high-intensity interval training, also known as HIIT, was the hot favorite. Basically, it's sprinting like a crazy cat for a while, rest a while, and sprint again. Repeat that until you want to vomit out every gohyong you have eaten that morning. Back then, it was seen as the most efficient workout, shorter sessions with better results. And the data backs this up. According to the American College of Sports Medicine's worldwide survey of fitness trends, HIIT was ranked the #1 global fitness trend in both 2014 and 2018. Gyms everywhere built their entire business around it. We have got gym studios like F45 that made people do intense exercise for 45 minutes with just short breaks. But here's the plot twist. By 2022, HIIT had dropped to #7. By 2025, it slipped to #6. And in the latest 2026 ACSM survey, HIIT fell all the way down to #12. Meanwhile, what's rising? Easy, low intensity, conversational pace cardio. Basically, the opposite of HIIT. This slow run, whereby you can still talk as you run, is called Zone 2 running. NPR even did a feature on this in October 2025, calling Zone 2 the latest trend in fitness. Mainstream media outlets like the Wall Street Journal and New York Times have also published explainers on Zone 2. That's how mainstream this once niche endurance training concept has become. In other words, people are obsessed with Zone 2 running. So, what exactly is it? If you are looking to advertise your business in this channel, we can help you. There are guaranteed views and many big brands have trusted us. Just click on the link in the description. Zone 2 running is essentially running at Zone 2 pacing. Zones are basically how exercise scientists divide up training intensity. Different models use different numbers of zones, but the basic idea is the same. The higher the zone, the more intense the exercise is. Zone 2 is the intensity just below your first lactate threshold, meaning your body is still mainly burning fat for fuel and lactate hasn't started piling up in your blood. Basically, it's around 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. I know this is very cheap for some of us, so here's the easiest way to know if you are running in Zone 2 pace, the talk test. You should be able to hold a full conversation in complete sentences. If you are panting for air, you have gone too hard and too fast. So, what are the benefits of Zone 2 running? Why is everyone running slow instead of fast now? There are a few reasons. A study published in Sports Medicine 2018 found that professional endurance athletes who do a lot of Zone 2 training had much better metabolic flexibility and fat oxidation capacity than people with metabolic syndrome. This became a foundational paper for the idea that Zone 2 training builds mitochondria and support metabolic health. I know you catch no balls, but basically, it means it's supposed to be good for you lah. The second reason is the most important one, and it's one that fitness influencers will often talk about. Unlike HIIT, whereby you sprint until you want to vomit, Zone 2 running is very slow and enjoyable. You can listen to podcasts or songs, people watch, or clear your mind as you do a slow, steady jog for 30 minutes, or treat it as a social activity whereby you jog and chat with your friends. I mean, if you can enjoy yourself while keeping healthy, it's akin to eating healthy ice cream leh. This is why run clubs in Singapore often do Zone 2 running, marketing it as a social activity. And the third reason is that you have lower risk of injury. Because you're not pushing your joints hard or doing explosive movements, the injury risk is much lower than sprint intervals. The only injury you have is your ego when you realize you chill 10 people for Zone 2 running, but they all reject you, only to see all of them running the same road in Strava. So yes, that's why Zone 2 running is so popular, mainly because it's like mahjong, a social activity with great health benefits. But wait, HIIT might still be better. You see, just as Zone 2 reached peak popularity, a 2025 narrative review published in Sports Medicine basically said,
"Hey, slow down lah, you are overhyping this."
The paper, titled Much Ado About Zone 2, reviewed the existing evidence and concluded that current research does not support Zone 2 training as the optimal intensity for improving microcontroller or fatty acid oxidative capacity in the general population. The reasoning is that most of the hype around Zone 2 comes from observing elite endurance athletes who train 20 to 30 hours per week. They can afford to do 80% of their volume at low intensity. If you only have 3 to 4 hours a week to exercise, spending all of it at low intensity might not be the most efficient use of your time. I know this sounds cheap, but basically, the argument is that HIIT is still kind of better and efficient lah. But honestly speaking, if I can do HIIT, why the heck would I do Zone 2? Nevertheless, whether it's HIIT or Zone 2, here's the general consensus that even a blue cat with just one brain cell will agree with. Any exercise is good. So whether you are doing slow Zone 2 runs at East Coast Park or brutal HIIT classes at F45, they are all very good for your body. Zone 2 is only more popular because it's a social event as well. But know that if you want to manage your weight, the key is not just exercising. It's something else too. Watch this to know what it is. Also, if you want to advertise with us, even as a standalone video, do contact us. Our website is in the description, or you can scan this QR code. Thank you for spending almost 5 minutes with me. I really appreciate it and hope you learned something.